Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. I'm not muted. It's all good. And we are ready to rock. How are you all going today? I hope you're going very well. I hope some people did get into some of the breakouts that we saw yesterday. It looked a bit lackluster in the morning, but we saw some nice breakouts. I guess notables were things like Nvidia that ended up getting through that 190, shot up quite well off this point. I mean, if we go here to the 1 hour chart, you'll notice how it ended up trading. Nothing wrong with this pickup here. A little bit later, Sid, if you're out there. Nothing wrong with picking up off the previous peak if you missed that initial run. And then it ended up going to 194 at the close. So yeah, Nvidia does certainly look like it really wants to get to this 196. It's going to open on the resistance, the previous support. So for anyone that got this, I think that during the mid-session, this is an excellent trade. It's actually my preferred one. Some people would say, oh, Tom, I got in down here. Well, I mean, if you can explain to me why that's great over the long term, I guess that's awesome. Maybe you've got some secret magic voodoo that is the reason why you're getting into it. But I specifically like these kind of more, I guess you could say, conservative style entries. You've got that kind of wick. You've got that pullback. You have the momentum coming through the session, a little bit of midday chill. And today, I mean, I think it's coming straight in on resistance at a 196.44. You know, we've got a 197.19. So really, it's kind of pointing towards a little bit of gain and then some serious resistance that it's got to get through. Be careful there, guys, the ones that are in NVIDIA. This is the type of zone that you do expect the sellers to come back through. So look, great stuff yesterday. It was pretty damn excellent. You know, I'm happy when Jack Dorsey did something with Square. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Square's moving, guys. Look at it. Hey, 258 finally, man. I feel like this stock, I mean, it's good percentage, but this stock has been sleeping. It's been sleeping for me. And I've held on. I'm going to keep holding. And I don't like looking at it, really. And that's why I kind of stopped looking at it. And this is sometimes what I do. I just like, you know, I've got a long-term plan on it. Great to see it break out yesterday. It's a strong move considering it's been doing so without crypto. And just to quickly say why, I mean, obviously launching their banking business, which was pretty much one of my main plays, and the main reason I bought it, it's only to do with the banking business really, was a big bit of news. And this has led to speculation on the stock, which is what I'd hoped for. It just took him too long. It just took so long, guys. You know, other companies make crypto NFTs as dividends faster than this stock gets around to launching stuff. But I know the banking's not easy. So anyway, you're not here to talk about Square or Nvidia. Welcome, everyone. A big shout out as well. Can I see it? Alfredo Oren, welcome to the Day Trader community, man. Make sure you sync that Discord up with, of course, your YouTube. And welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. It's great to have you here. And yeah, greatly appreciated your support, sir. Getting the party started today. That cough sounded COVID-y. No. I'm absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Unfortunately, I do get a bit raspy, but that's just, maybe it's when you work, 12, 14 hour days. I mean, maybe that's what happens. I don't know. The YouTube game ain't easy when you're doing other stuff as well. But, I'm here for you guys, nothing else. So let's go through the US 500. They were just a few overviews. I really think I like that NVIDIA trade. I'm happy with Square, obviously. I know quite a few of you probably have that stock in your portfolio, so great to see a breakout there and at that point towards that 280. Am I still concerned? Well, I said today that we'd use some data points, some data-driven points. Now, do I actually have that stuff up? Let me just quickly see here. It should be over here. Yes, I want to talk about this before we go into the stock market and the indices. I just want to talk about whether we've seen something like this happen before. And I got it, some people said, "Oh, Tom, that's BS, man. This is not how I've tried to use this before and it doesn't work like that." Guys, you got to use data points not so literally. You've got to think, okay, what am I good at? What maybe is some of your strengths? Some of your strengths are something like being able to recognize TA, great entry points, okay? Everything actually, when it comes to trading, investing, all of that type of stuff, a lot of it comes down to TA in many ways. Then maybe you want to improve your basic fundamental game. Now, funnily enough, you could actually take your fundamental game on blue chip stocks and go get the 12-month average target for stocks from all of the big houses, put all the averages together, which you can get on Reuters, etc. And you could literally just say, okay, if the stock's under what the fundamental 12-month target is, that's my fundamentals done. Now, is it good enough? Well, it's not good, but those guys are technically paid a lot of money to come up with random ideas. And if you understand, it's not really about what their random ideas are. It's more about the cumulative total of all of those is an expectation. When you go to a big client, and this is what happens in America, they go to a big client and they say, "Guys, we want you to buy $1 million worth of Square units." And they say, "What's Square?" Well, you don't need to know what Square's like. It's a great company, it's new. But guess what? Our analyst has $320 on the 12-month target. And they're like, "What's the price right now?" $200. Damn, all right, let's buy that. It's that simple. That's often how things go down. Anyone out there can attest to that. Somebody, let me know in the chat. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever been one of those people? Tell me right now. I want to know. So let's say you bring together your TA and your fund. Actually, we should be stepping back. Whoa. Hold back, cowboys. We shouldn't even be in the TA or the fundamentals just yet. We should be understanding the top-down data, the big picture, the big data. What do we believe we're in? Are we in a cycle? You remember, the trading game is the psychology game. How many times have you closed an order early? We all have. We've all done it because you lose focus on what's important. And this is something that I'm definitely somebody that took a while to get used to. And you might think, "Tom, I'm on a 5-minute chart scalping the day. I don't care." It matters. It all matters because you can get clouded judgment. So let's say you believe in something like an 18.6-year cycle. It's a common concept. It's actually through property, but it ends up leading into stock market. So let's say that's something you believe in. Something is very important, and I'll be discussing this kind of concept and other concepts soon. If you guys like this, let me know. The next thing that you want to know is you want to know your seasonals. Okay, we want to know what is going on in the different seasonals. Is there a time of month that we should be looking for bulls? Does that line up to where we are in the markets right now? And we'll bring the TA into it. Then we want to also know our rotations. We also want to know what's the general feeling of the market been. Has it been following the standard curve of the year, of the averages over time? And when we can bring some of this information together, we're using analytical data. We're using just basic data concepts. This is common sense, guys. We've also got the Fed, because remember, I always say follow the government money. In this case, the Fed, follow the monetary policy. This is very important. And by going, okay, we're in this stage in the cycle. We're in this stage of post-GFC in this case, because of course I call the pandemic effectively a global financial style meltdown with monetary policy taking us out of it and government spending. So therefore, I'm following the same game plan as people followed back in after the global financial crisis. The only difference here is obviously I'm a bigger fan of biotech this time around. I'm a bigger fan of technology this time around. And again, you might say, well, this has nothing to do with TA. But if you do all of this and then you put in scanners in place, okay, and you start scanning through sectors that you think are going to be stronger at that time of year, things that you're looking for, breakups, breakdowns, etc., you'd be surprised how powerful bringing all this stuff together and then going towards your TA, then going towards your fundamental basis is. It's amazingly powerful stuff. So what's happening right now? Well, let's just think about it. Was February a kind of crappy month? I would say yes. The Nasdaq didn't play the game. And I'm actually using the Nasdaq here in many ways. March, it was the meh, some would say. April, fantastical. We definitely were talking about that a lot. Now, did May follow the same script as this? I would say no. May did not follow the same post-election years. It followed the generalized patterns of the 10-year, the 20-year, and since 1950. Lackluster. Now, June didn't follow. It was kind of like backwards. So when you think about it, June was a pretty damn good month in, the technology space, etc. And these is where, you could say, okay, well, let's say we flip those 2 months together. Have we followed the general line so far this year? Yes. Where are we now? We're in July. We're in what a post-election year has been good. Now, no one's talking about tax. Tax is the enemy of capitalism. It's also the enemy of growth. It's the enemy of stocks because people will take it out. So will August, September be weak? It makes some sense when we think about TLT. We think about the 20-year bonds. We think about the dollar index. And I'm not saying that we're seeing the bearish signs yet. I'm just wanting to warn people of the concept of, don't ignore the data. Do I believe that this is the crash that goes 90%, 80%, 60%? My belief is absolutely not. Okay, I don't believe that. Now, if it happens, well, more fool me. I may not be prepared for that because I think that we're in the second stage of an incredible that massive 18.6-year cycle. So that's going to end much later this decade. We're going into effectively a roaring 20s. Once you start, you can't stop monetary policy. I don't believe monetary policy is inflationary. You get the data points, you bring it together, and then you come up with some pictures here. So do we think, with the Russell signs that we've been seeing about breadth, with the fact that maybe we'll see lower volume as we go up here, we've got to be really careful on the euphoria feelings of your friends, of the community, of the other communities out there. If everyone is just like always, buy the dip, guys, and everyone's getting euphoric, that's when you've got to be cautious, okay? Let's see what the community thinks of that. Let's see if anybody is going up here. Brett C says, I closed early today. That is bad. Fair enough. Justin V says, I think market reacts to jobs numbers. I think you'll find that it reacts to lots of things. However, in the big picture, all of those things are just like little bits. They're little crumbs for the market. They're crumbs that you can follow in the data. But yeah. I used to fall for that crap and I lost a lot of money doing it. So Scott Morgan's probably talking about the 12-month expectations. Yes, the 12-month expectations. August, October is screwed, says Truly Messiah. Stop trading, chaps. 100%, some people say. You can't scalp effectively without looking at the bigger picture as well. Absolutely, Trio. You must be semi-aware. Look, you can scalp effectively, but at least know when the red news is coming out, all right? At least know when jobs numbers are coming out, etc. If you don't, and you scalp into those, it can undo and unwind weeks worth of great work. Derek 4 with $1,000,000 Hong Kong $25. That was a bearish cough, Tom. You want some Far Eastern Chinese medicine for it. I've drunk some of that, actually. They've got a cure for everything. Yeah. Tastes bad, man. Whew. The Chinese medicine doesn't taste great, but I'm sure it works pretty well. So, yes, let's have a look what everyone else is saying. Good morning, Tom. I believe Moderna is the Tesla of bioscience. Do you still believe it to be expensive? At this stage, yes. The thing with Moderna, and we'll have a quick look here. By the way, Derek, thank you very much. The thing with Moderna in general, there it is, mRNA, is that the price is very high. Now, we know that it's got huge volume on it. We know it's been included in the SP500. It didn't close under this point, which is the true bear sign. It went crazy yesterday, as we can see. Full reversal off there. I know this stock to be the pumpy dumpy, okay? Like all great bioscience, biotechnology style stocks, it pumpy, then it dumpy. It pumpy, then it dumpy. Now it's extreme pumpy, all right? So do I think there'll be extreme dumpy? Absolutely. If you like this type of stock, don't ever feel the FOMO for something like this. You know, if the history says pumpy dumpy and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this time we've run Further, remember, how far away are we from the moving average right now? We are 26%. Okay, 26%. Let's have a look at last time when it went pumpy dumpy. We were 57, so even more. So it's not unbelievable to think that it can go even higher. But to think that it's going to not be back down, you know, I'd almost place a wager with you, $2. Not $2 for everyone. But yeah, I would always place a wager that I do believe that if you followed this over the next 3 to 6 months, it would be quite substantially lower, back down a little bit here. And it's not because it's not a great company. You know, I'm a big biotech fan. Biotech. Love biotech. It's glorious. It's great. And you know what? You bring up a great point. I mean, this company has gone from strength to strength to strength here, and it's now worth $128 billion. If we go back to 2020, this company was worth $21 a stock. You know, just to put it in perspective, this is epic growth. And this is part of the reason why I think biotechnology is a super exciting industry. But if you trade this thing on leverage, you might be crazy, because biotech is wild. It is insane. We've got a new member resubscription, Vladio Catalan. Thank you very much for the 2 months. Appreciate it, sir. Awesome to have you here and great to have you in the community. Let's have a look at the US 500. Let's get an idea of today. So first up, where are we? We're down 0.15%. We had a great strength. I think the easiest strength was definitely this one. Highly likely, based on the statistics, based on the fact that we had the 50. We actually closed above the 20, which was fair to think rallies would happen. We were cautious yesterday, looking for bull moves. A lot of stocks made new peaks, which led to some amazing gains. You can see them here. Hyper stocks were doing very well, specifically things that were targeting in on, of course, the pandemic style situation. That was doing incredibly well. And when we scroll down here through the 1 hour, do we see anything interesting? Well, you know, the 1 hour here, I guess you would say maybe there's a little early pullback here. Maybe there's a little early pullback. If we bring this across, does it make sense for the US 500 to find some weakness in the morning before trying to rally? You would think so from a day trader perspective. You got support here, resistance. And you have a lot of moving averages, the 200 simple moving average and the 50 exponential. But like any time, fake market futures are not good. So let's have a look at what that level was. So 43.32. Let's go back to this one. 43.46. Interesting. So the real market, the support is around here from the moving average standpoint. Massive rally, probably due for one pullback. We are on Thursday. We've got to remember Thursday's generally the bear day. Thursday's been bear day quite a few times when we've done these live streams. And then Friday's had that VIX kind of action on it. I did want to mention again that Amazon's got huge amounts of calls on it. It's just phenomenal how many calls. So I think we'd like to see how that plays out as well. That's something that I look at when you get all these FANG stocks, just calls loading in and they're all expiring on Friday. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays. Let's look at the US 100 because I don't think we're getting clear enough picture there. Much cleaner level here on the US 100 on the fake market futures. Resistance, yeah, 14.8, much better level. You can see the double resistance over here when it tested from the bottom up. Let's have a look at the QQQ. So that level is 14.8. Oh, we won't use that. We'll use NDX. So 14.740 is where the two moving averages are. I'm just using the hour here because I'm just trying to get a bit of an idea. That's pretty good. That closure above a rejection like that is quite bullish. Oh yeah, I know, Ty. I'm not. No camera today. No camera, guys. Sorry. Thank you for sending me the text, though, man. Okay, so resistance breach coming back down. Yeah, look, it kind of makes sense. A little bit of morning weakness, and then hopefully a rally at the end. What are you guys feeling about it? I'm just looking at this for the first time. Just coming in here, just pre-market, just trying to figure out what I would do. I don't know if I like any of the indices really as trades. Let's have a look at the Shanghai comp, because the Shanghai comp did something way more interesting. Long leg doji on the 4-hour into the closure above. Now that I like a lot. This is a much cooler market, and it could bode well for things like the Baba, things like the Baidu, some of these suffering stocks. This is a substantial kind of move here. We've got the Shanghai comp. You know this is a channel. Everybody sees this. And then we have a little closure out. It's taken a long time to get through here. Let's have a look at the daily. This is the type of thing I much prefer. When you're being patient, sometimes it does pay. Remember, not every day is a glorious trade day. Sometimes you have to go find the stock, or you have to go find the specific thing that you find a really great lightning bolt, really great entry point off. But the Shanghai Composite has closed above the resistance. If you come in and see this, you can straight away see that type of thing. So let's maybe focus in on some of the Chinese stocks today here. So we've got 0.67 up from Baba. We have the chance for lightning bolt. Trough, peak, higher trough, higher peak. Price here would be 216.70. So it may not reach it today, but this will be a very substantial close here for Baba, and it should lead to further momentum up to the 230. You can clearly see that lightning bolt style action. That's the type of thing we look for off the key support, off the crazy trend line that we've been watching now for a very long time. Crazy trend line. With a break like that in the Shanghai Composite, it is the type of thing where you start to see rallies. And I've said this time and time again, and for new viewers out there, one of the things that you can never forget about the Chinese market is when it pumpy, it certainly does pumpy. Oh my goodness. It's a rocket ship, guys. Think about it. This is the rocket ship coming into the global financial crisis. This is the rocket ship that I remember very well. Kind of in the middle of my trading career, I remember hearing stories about this. Ooh, it was bad. When it started dumping, man, sad stories, guys, really bad. This market didn't just recover, not like the US market. It has never recovered. Imagine if you got in here back in 2007. This is when indices go wrong, and you need to understand the market that you're in, the valuations, and sometimes valuations eventually come back to bite you, as you can see here. So, look, these are good signs in this market. Whether you like to admit it or not, these are the types of things you look for. You've got a weak rejection here on the monthly. This monthly is going to close in, a week and a bit. Will it get bullish? Significant closures will occur. We go over to the weekly. I know a lot of you probably aren't interested in this, but this is the type of thing. Look, long leg doji, decision made. We're only 2 days off trade. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it for the first time in a while. It's finally doing the right stuff on the indice, which means you can then go and look at the stocks a little bit better. Let's move over to IWM here, and then I'll read some of the chat. Let's have a look at what you guys are looking at. So we've got here nice big range. Pretty good. Supports, resistances, we're in the middle. Daily came into resistance. This makes me think bearish day for IWM. If Tyrone was on right now, I think we'd both say the way that we see this is a support. We see it as, moving averages here, 2050. This is resistance kind of area, and it points again to a little bit of weakness here early. Thanks very much for the subscribers. I appreciate that, guys. Just quickly reading some of the chat here just to see what you guys are thinking. Hey, Tom, can you have a look at the Hang Seng 50 while you're at the indices, says MG. Yeah, we have a quick look. Big bullish hammer, double bottom potential here. Closure above here would be substantial. And if you think about it, if you go over to the weekly as well, you're really needing that rejection. Now, I know I don't have the big data here, but you can see this kind of bullying that's coming through. Let's look at the HSI. Okay, I just want to see if there's anything better. Yeah, same thing. Looks good. Looks good. These markets are getting much better. You can tell there's money flowing into them from somewhere, and once they start completing these style patterns, like this one completes its double bottom and starts to ramp its next target, something like this. So there is interest going into some of these Asian markets that have been beaten down. Remember, no one's talking about them. People are scared. People are worried about, pissed off at Baba, pissed off at all those other things, and rightfully so. They're not without their own risks. But when you start to see these indices get better, it is something worth paying some attention to. All right. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK, $50, 002460. I bought this in May at 99. I see the top around 215, 220 and a pullback to the 130, 140 area. That's a big moves. Around October, I'm curious as what you see, Tom. All right, let's have a look at this. I love their code, 002460. Sounds like some kind of code that I'll be like, getting in there and getting into the safe or something. This stock is, it's going parabolic. It's happened before, and it's actually done some sideways action after that. There's clearly some volume coming into it. So you're saying you see it around 215, 220. Look, I couldn't state for why exactly or what area exactly it's going into. It's worth $229 billion, so it's worth a ton. I'm not sure if that's American, though. Probably be the currency over there, so it might be a lot less. But 200 is substantial. You can see these two rejections, and when you close above those, how all of a sudden it slingshots massive momentum. I think in this case, Ulrich, you want to follow either an extension from a fib of some kind. So you'll have to put maybe a fib extension on it, see if you can get one off the last pull. You just hit a 3618. You're probably targeting a 423. Has it done that before? Maybe you'll have to go over here and just kind of see if it has done any fib extensions before off previous kind of moves. Maybe do an overlay. Sometimes if I'm not sure, I might fib extension both just to see if they both line up. In this case, they don't. How would I watch this? How would I follow it? I'd look at a really small moving average. It's clearly extending away from the 1 hour, but I would probably go with 1 hour 50 is the massive backup and 1 hour 20 is the main thing you're watching. And when you go up here, you would have to think if it starts breaching this 1 hour 20 by too much, it's going to be super negative for it. So yeah, 220 is very possible. I think 200 though is a big psychological level in itself. So if it breaches, it might go into excess phase. This is probably a good target usually. And if it excesses, it might excess up to 220. Be careful. It's clearly running a lot. And yes, the pullback would be severe. Nana, super chat of $5. Hi, Tom. Can you have a look at Futu? It busted past the 140. Sure can. So Futu was one that got absolutely belted recently. Let's go to the daily. See the big movement up. This is kind of pretty poor. This was actually already setting up for a 199 before the whole government intervention stuff occurred. Big percentages coming through yesterday, 5.46%. Go down to a 2 hour, 140 did get busted through. So that's all the moving averages on these time frames now are behind. Also on the 4 hour, very important. And then on the daily, where were we? Oh yeah, so we're just about up above. Usually in this situation, the way that I look at these things from a technical perspective is we get a bit of a movement up, usually a pullback back down to these moving averages. The 20 and the 50 act as dynamic support. Then you also usually have a fib, maybe a 23.6 or a 38.2 fib. And then, yeah, you should hopefully have rally to 155 plus at that point. This is a very aggressive stock. So it is doing the right things of recovery here. You've got some nice pull-ups. You've got an engulf that's going to occur on the weekly. Nothing to sneeze at if it does close like this. So the bull signs are there on something like Futu. Knock knock, super chat $2.99. Tom, flooding in China is bad, really bad for the Shanghai comp. Well, maybe it just means more government money. That's sometimes how things are looked at. The thing about some of these ways that we think about things logically is that, you would think, oh, the pandemic's terrible, and it was, and it is, and it's killing small businesses everywhere. And I have people that we know that, suffered. Some businesses are terrible. So what ended up happening was the government money obviously plugged the hole a little bit there, and it saved many things. And a lot of these economy style bust ups are really about confidence. So if you have a problem, what has been common nowadays is just fix the problem by printing some cash, or in this case, of course, creating monetary stimulus that therefore creates jobs, creates confidence. It's all confidence and fear, guys. Greed, fear. Warren Buffett's not wrong about fearful and greedy, but you've also got to read in between the lines. How long is these policies going to be in place? As we talked about at the start of this stream, the data to get started, then the TA and the fundamentals after that. And you bring them all together, and it is the match. That's the one you want to do here. So let's look around the rest of the market. So we were talking about the US 500, US 100. All of them hard to read, maybe small pullbacks here with some reversal. So I think we're going to have to go into specific stocks more than anything else today. We've got the US 10-year at the resistance, the daily 200 here, previous support at the resistance. So that's going to be one we're watching. When we're talking about US 10-year, we should be looking at some of the banks as well. And I've talked about this one, which is, of course, JP Morgan. And JP Morgan has a full-on head and shoulders pattern. Now, has it closed? No. Should you be in this trade? No. But I saw a few people mentioning in the private Discord community that time, it's on the daily 20. I'm thinking about shorting it. If you do see the 10-year go down, that is what's going to happen here. I mean, if you believe the 10-year was going down on your own trade, then you're probably going to see the TLT go up, which is, of course, bearish here as well. The 10-year goes down, bearish here as well. And this is really what I'm watching for the bears. If you want to talk about how I see markets, how Tyrone sees markets, how we see markets in general, most market crashes or most market corrections more, because I think this is a correction and I might write crash in the title, but mark my words, I believe at this stage, based on everything that we're seeing, it's more of a correction that would have turned out. These are the things that start it. It all comes from the financials. It usually is something like XLF, and these are the ones that I start to spot. And it's like in Australia right now. We're locked down here at the moment, and you come and you look at this NAB trade and you think, well, that's perfect Wyckoff, Tom. It closed underneath. It's rallying at the moment. But again, what have I always said to you guys about when you gap underneath? If you must close a bearish candle underneath. This is a bull candle, and a bull candle, and then a bull candle. So we haven't really started the sequence yet. But if we turn around here, which is where the banks are starting to weaken, this is an Australian bank, we've got supports all over the place. If this is the turning point, this is a very nasty setup here. Very nasty. And that's the type of setup that I pay a lot of attention to. In America, of course, we're looking at XLF. We're just coming back to the resistance. We haven't breached the support yet. We know that if we get a peak, a trough, a lower peak, and then a lower trough, and it actually cleans through, again, this sequences weakness. So I think this is something I'll be looking at. If we close above here for the banks sector, so let's say we get above this, all-time highs, I'm feeling for the SP 500. All-time highs. And you know what comes back into play, guys? At that point, the beautiful trend line, the beautiful community trend line. We'll give a clap to that because that is our trend line, and we use it together to take advantage of very cool moves. And we're still not bearish in the market. We're just prepping. We're like that show Doomsday Preppers. Except we're not crazy like some of them are. There are some crazy people on that show. But what we're looking for is the signals either way. And JP Morgan brings up a great case here. We've obviously got the XLF. We've got some of the Australian banks there. You can see the pictures, yeah? You can't ignore it. However, there's nothing. The indices aren't saying, bad. It's not bad right now. It's good. So if we get that closure above for the banks, then we should be able to breach all-time highs and rally higher into this trend line. I think that comes down to a lot of what JP Morgan, what actually the big Wall Street banks' plans are. And it comes down to also fear and greed within the retail sector. If everyone is like super greedy, if everyone's euphoric, that's the time you need to become definitely a little bit more fearful in the market. And it's funny how fast this switches. because we were fearful. People were fearful. I was not fearful yet because we're just coming back down to the 50. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's optimistic and feeling great again. Now, that's a quick switch. That switch was incredibly quick on the Nasdaq here. So I'd like to have this here. I want this here. I want complete euphoric feelings so we can see the market. And look, complete euphoria happens. Market. Bleh. Look at the QQ price action. Look at this. Look at this is the blue line. Euphoria, incredible euphoria, pull back in the market. So we want this gauge to be up here with the smiley face, super greedy, feeling great face. That's where we want them to be. Because when it happens, that's the good time. Let's talk about gold support being found. We're about 22 minutes away from the market open. Welcome to the 1,521 viewers. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing, guys? Click the button. Just click it, It's easy. Don't click the dislike. Well, I don't know if it even matters on YouTube, but don't do it, guys. Let's have a look here at gold. Support found. Looking okay. Looking okay at this stage. Bit dodgy. Not really a trade that I like anymore. Unfortunately, a lot of that plan of the 1843 didn't end up working out. Got some good rally in it initially if you were scalping and day trading, but didn't quite get all the way. A lot of people's longer term stops certainly not out because they would be underneath these lows here. So that's the critical point. For the bears to take control of this market, they clean under this level, close the level. Oh my God. Gold will just get collapsed and it will be bad. So we'll come back to that market in the future. Dollar index. Now here's where things get strange. So we've had now daily rejection week. That is an annoying bad sign. Now, in today's video, I talked about how if you're going to take the dollar index long, you have to wait for the lightning bolt here. And the reason you do is because you don't catch the falling knife. Can we get some knives in the chat? We don't want to catch the falling knife. Very important we don't do that. And at this stage, it's gone through that consolidation. So DXY is retreating here. US oil, congratulations traders. Probably the best trade we had in the stream yesterday. Fantastic to see that thing come through. For me, I'm done with it again. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, oil. Gift that keeps on giving. Absolute amazing turnaround. Beautiful long leg doji. We saw the daily kind of come through and it moved. I know we've got some super chats there, so we'll get into those in just a second. But yeah, great stuff. Let's have a look at Amazon. Amazon, I know there's a lot of calls here, so I'm interested to see what happens. We've got rejection. Do we get follow through here today? 35.96. So let's call it 3,600. 3,600 plus closure. You would think based on the dailies that we're seeing. Remember, where's Amazon pulling off? Previous resistance. There is huge call bets that have been put on this for expiry tomorrow. All sitting around 35.80, 35.60, 36, all those zones. Millions of premium, guys. Millions and millions. These aren't small players. The average size is $300,000 of premium. Average. Not even average. It's the smallest, actually. So there's some big stuff there. Yeah, I'm looking at this zone. Let's go to the 1 hour. What do we have here, Mr. Amazon? Bezos going to the moon and back has created a lightning bolt. Trough, peak, bullish hammer, higher trough, higher peak, question mark. Damn. All right. There we go. Some Amazon Bezos action going on there. Off the support bar, may I add. All right, let's quickly read some of these super chats. Get ahead here. Nick Calhour, $1.99. Welcome back, Nick. Has Billy made a lightning bolt? Thoughts? Love you. Thank you very much there, Nick. Great to have you here. Billy. By the way, if anyone doesn't know, we've got Tyrone coming on the stream for some drinks tomorrow. Drinks, general chat, general discussion, some of his ideas about what's going on in the markets right now. It's going to be an extravaganza, so make sure you come across. It's going to be great. And as one lady said out there, supposedly for the ladies that watch the stream, he's eye candy. So, maybe you want to tune in. I don't know, maybe some guys is eye candy. I got some good stories about Ty, but we'll see whether we share those stories. Anyway, at this point, he's coming on. We're going to be talking the market. And it's always great to have some feedback. I also think that at some point we'll bring on some guests. We'll have people that we know in the industry having a chat about their opinions. If you guys like that type of thing, probably better than just giving my opinion and my concepts of TA and everything all the time. So has this Billy done the right thing? Yeah, it has. You are correct. So it's pulling back today to the 113.52. You've got kind of like a really heavy support through 112, but you are correct. That is a trough, a peak, a higher trough, and yes, that is a closure above, signaling more bullishness, and you get that little bit of a pullback, which kind of gives you that more conservative entry. So I don't know what this is. Never traded it myself, but you are correct. Absolutely. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK20. Tom, what is your forecast on commodities and metals? Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't... My general plan was to follow the GFC and to follow it out. So I was very heavy. I'm weak now in that position, and I was going to take it heavy again if we get a pullback. That was what I was planning, but I've decided against it. My general forecast is that you can kind of see in lumber that there was a lot of huge demand. There's obviously going to be increased demand for longer due to the just overall world mass construction boom, mass usage boom. But I am concerned about iron ore price just because I think there's a lot of stacking going on. And I think a lot of the reason commodities are so expensive is the shipping channels. So I'm actually watching shipping more than anything else. Shipping cost is everything to the commodities right now. If shipping cost starts to come down, you got to be careful there, Ulrich. Loaded question, hard to break down very, very quickly. Echo Aurora, $2 Australian. Thoughts on the Ethereums? Let's have a look at the Ethereums. We haven't done Bitcoin today. Well, Eka's probably the man when it comes to getting some good TA, aren't you, Eka? He got square the other day. Congratulations, Eka. He picked up some fantastic trades recently with his super chats. So you guys, maybe you need to watch the Eckers when he comes in with stuff, because he's been coming up with some good ones. Yeah, I think you're right with Ethereum here, man. Lots of FUD, obviously, the other day about the whole Yellen thing, and every one of these positions came down to mission critical supports. I mean, let's get rid of all this stuff, whatever's going on here. We don't need these lines. And just think about what happened on Ethereum. Ethereum just destroyed itself down to the lowest point it's been at quite a few times. If we look at this on a 4-hour, you have exactly what I always talk about as being a critical point. You have the coiling beast before it does the closeout. So you close out here above, where's your next target? You're talking about like a 2200 target, 2170, 2180. There is a trade here. And it does have the hallmarks of the correct type of setups, man. It does. Closure above that rejection. Would have taken out a few stops here. False. Kind of low. 20 moving average is holding it up. And this is the same thing with Bitcoin. 20 moving average. So you breach these levels, Eka, or anyone out there. And what you're doing is you're saying to the market, we tricked you. We took you down. We got rid of your stop losses. We didn't breach to where every algo under the sun would be dumping Bitcoin all the way down to $20,000, which is probably what will happen if it goes through here. But it's still horrendously weak. You can see that. This is still horrendously weak. So you got to be nimble and quick in a market like this. Very weak, not great. Close above, start to recover. Doesn't change the fact that you've got this monstrous head and shoulders. Of course, that goes negative on Bitcoin if it came through. But you are right. Ethereum is, setting up. Brett C becoming a member. Thank you very much, Brett C. Appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Welcome, Brett C, to the community, guys. Great to have you here. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK20, SCCO, and New York Stock Exchange. Potential long to $83. If close above the 66, we'll take a look at that in a second. So let's just do a scan here. We've got 13 minutes till the open. We haven't scanned our generals. So Square, notable, has broken out. If it does pull back, what kind of levels do we expect to see some buying pressure? Around that 256 closure would be where you'd expect buying pressure, 256.67 for Square. It's running off news. You know how it is. A hyper stock goes off news. We've got Neo coming into resistance yesterday. Probably done its dance for now. If it does breach through, I expect pullback and then further breach to the $50. So we'll wait for more closures there from a technical standpoint. This one, get out of here, Zillow. We'll come back to you later. Apple, boring. Apple, rallied nice, filled the gap. I don't know, nothing there. Amazon, we talked about. Google looks for an all-time high here, so we'll see whether it can get that done. Snow, another decent day yesterday. Nothing exceptional, but definitely a decent day. Continues to grind higher here. Good signals from the technical perspective. We're back above the resistance. We know Snow had some good momentum on it recently. It's got great support behind it, so that's the type of stock that is doing well. Now, Enphase got through. It just smashed that resistance. Damn, that was powerful. Not sure how I feel about Enphase. Such a powerful stock. I'd be probably more likely to see pullback into that. Microsoft, pretty decent closure yesterday. That's probably why it's up this morning. Wick rejections, closes. That's one of those ones that a lot of people would have taken into the close, looking towards, of course, the high up here. Breaches this high. Well, at that point, we're probably looking at a new all-time high coming in on the indices. They're all led by these stocks, as we know. CRISPR, trying its best to get up there. It's doing pretty good. You guys know how I feel about CRISPR, but trade action doesn't look super spectacular. It's more of a just kind of like guess. Starbucks had an amazing setup on it. 4-hour rejection off the previous resistance. Thanks to the community for bringing that up, but we'll take off Starbucks now. AMD did really well yesterday. That was one that we were definitely signposting. Let's have a look at Intel, because of course Intel is going to be coming out with their announcement. So let's have a look here at the earnings. We have Thursday close, Intel, Snap, Twitters. Maybe we should have I don't know. I don't even know if I want to look at them, really. Taking these in. So what do you guys think about Intel? Is this thing undervalued or overvalued? Community, let me know right now while I read some chats. Yeah, I know index is the world. It's all right, worldwide happiness. We're all happy. It's all good, man. NVIDIA, we've covered that one. Going into resistance today. $7.77, giving me US $7.77. We will get back to your one as well. Ulrich, thank you so much, $7. Always amazing to have you here. Hi, Tom. Piton, please. Best to you and your crew. Thanks so much, man. Just sent the community an indicator on the Twitters. Okay, Urban. We'll have a look at that one. How about Twillo, Tom? What do you think about that? Yeah, we'll check that one out as well. Overvalued, people saying. Intel going to get smashed. Tom J says undervalued, overvalued, overvalued, undervalued, under, over. Intel dying. Intel is tricky. Doesn't move for years. Yeah, it's a slow one. The thing about Intel that kind of interests me is when we think about it past the pandemic kind of start, let's think about this. So it got smashed, hasn't moved for years. So you got to remember it hasn't moved for a long time. Then it recovered. Then it got smashed again. Then it recovered. Then it got smashed again. And I do think it's too early to tell on Intel. Like if you're going into this earnings, I think this is the trap zones. You've got your resistance around that $58. That's a very clear kind of trap zone. If it does clean this level, Intel's going to try to really fill up to the gap. So I think it's one that we'll watch maybe tomorrow in the session, but it's just interesting to go look at some of these. It is always good to look at them. All right, let's do these others. So SCCO, we've got 8 minutes here till the open. Let's dial in on a few stocks here. This isn't too bad. Potential long 83, if close above 66. Yeah, I agree. Double bottom. Double bottom. Great resistance. Damn, that's good resistance. 66. Closure above that, you're calling about an 83. That's right into the highs. I like to go a bit more average, so probably about 80 for me. But you are correct. This double bottom is certainly a great setup from a technical standpoint. Know nothing about the business. You'd want to go do some of that analysis. But the thing I like about this is you've got a closure, if it did occur above this resistance, is going to push through a 200 daily, a 50 exponential moving average. And then if it does pull back after that, you've got a 20, a 200, and a 50, all acting as dynamic support in that case, which we know it likes because you can see that over here in the previous rally. Not bad. Not bad, sir. I'll add it in. Copper company. Okay, Piton. Let's do Piton. The pandemic Piton. So it's been rallying in recent days, like all of these other hyper stock style pandemic plays. You're at a critical point, which I know you'd be aware of, Sandola. It's right at the critical point. Now, do we have like a bigger picture idea here? I mean, there's probably an argument to say that you could go with like inverse head and shoulders style pattern here. And that if you took that, remember using the closes can be key here. If you took that distance, it's probably going to, in generalized terms, come up with somewhere around the high. Look, Piton is at mission critical. Piton is at mission critical. I don't know how you guys feel about this company. I've never used their product or anything. I know on my Nvidia Shield, great product, best TV thing out there. I love that Nvidia Shield, so good. So yeah, breach above this, 140 first stop being previous support. And then, of course, back into the 160, 170 zone after that. Could be very, very cool. I'll put it back on the list. Piton's come on and off over the time. Now, we've also got Twilio. Let's have a look there. Let's have a look at Roku as well. How'd Roku go yesterday? It was one of the ones that we liked. 1.18%. So a little bit weak, really, in consideration. Roku coming off previous resistance, acting as support, got through the daily. That was a good sign. Ended up putting on 1%. Still looks quite good. Add Roku back in. And let's look at Twilio. Oh, yeah. Good strength here. Earnings are very soon. So like a lot of stocks, and sometimes you can trade for this, guys. Remember, what do we say about stocks? They are optimistic in their nature. So if they're optimistic in their nature, where are they going to go before earnings? With Apple, we've demonstrated time and time again that it's a buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of event. Usually around that 2 to 3 weeks leading into Apple, you want to start targeting Apple, finding the good technicals. You use this data, you use the concepts of how it's moved coming into it. And if you can raw pick that data or even do your own analysis on it, you'd be surprised how much it helps you. So at this stage, we've got Twilio coming in. It's going to be at resistance. It's going to have earnings. And if it blows through it, then it's going to look like you're a genius. And if its earnings aren't good, then of course it's going to go from resistance all the way down under 360 and start, some really big shorts. So Twilio, it's good, but earnings is coming in soon, and that resistance is the key. If you're normally looking at it, you go bang, bang, bang. Very simple. Good TA. There's good TA there on Twilio. 4 minutes till the open. Let's just dial in. Let's have a look at the best stocks of the day. What have we got going on here in the pre-market? We've got Union Pacific, 3.46%, 224. Biotech, 2.46%. We've got Nvidia 1.41, so that's getting close to that resistance. Alibaba up On the negative side with banks and stuff, won't it? Let's have a look. NXP Semiconductors, Boeing, Qualcomm. Come on, Qualcomm. You can do better than that. That thing's been so slow. And then we've got, that's what happens when you trade the boomer stock. Regeneron at 583 now with Regeneron. Let's go to the speculation. Clove back in play here, 888. Since the other day when AMC started going, I guess that's kind of put a bit of power under a few of these. And yeah, all are working quite well there. So we'll watch in the morning. I think we'll watch probably Square. I'm interested to see how that comes out of the gate myself. And then I will watch, of course, the Nasdaq. Be dialing in there on it. We'll check out maybe we'll watch Amazon. Quite a few interesting stocks. We saw some big differences there. Another one that I had up yesterday was Facebook. Ended up putting on less percentage. I think it was AMD, Facebook, Amazon, those ones that we were looking at yesterday. So some good stuff. Neuro is going crazy. Yeah, there'll be a few stocks that are going crazy because of earnings. Correction after earnings season. Highly likely, PK Subban. Highly likely. Usually you like to see earnings, then after the earnings anticipation happens, it's kind of like, oh, well, you know, we've suckered everyone in, everyone's got it. Now we're going to question valuation. We're going to question the Delta strain. We're going to question everything else. Michael DH, Super Chat $4.99. CTRM, Castor Maritime, bulk shipping company. They float those big things like the one that got stuck in the Suez Canal. Oh, yeah? We've done Castor Maritime on the stream before, I remember. It was very sick, and it still is very sick. Castor Maritime. 1 minute till the market opened. In fact, we've got about 30 seconds, so I'll just quickly look at this. Look, it's very, very sick, man. Has broken through, I guess, what you would say is a downtrend, and that's significant. Look for a close above. Look for a lightning bolt. Look for a lightning bolt on something like this. All right, guys. Well, we're coming into the market open. We're ready to go. We've got everything set up. We'll just quickly set up Tesla here as well, so you guys can see that. I know you love it. Tesla expectations, semi-lackluster. So here's the open. Let's get that bell going. Congratulations for making it through. I'll answer all of the super chats in just a few moments here. So we've got the US 100 starting off with a little bit of bullishness. We've got Square floating. Let's have a look through all these stocks. Anything of interest. Snow opens 0.98. That's still good. Beam. Bit of things going green. What's that? Where was that 2%? That's gone. 1.88% for NVIDIA. So NVIDIA should have just hit resistance. Let me just bring that up. Yep, just hit resistance then. I wonder if it powers. It's a beast stock at the moment. A lot of retailers here. This is usually where I expect little profits to be taken. So it'd be interesting to see if it just powers straight through that zone. That was my target, so target's off. Sometimes it's good to be short, sharp, and in and out. Sometimes it's better to do, you know, to just like follow and stuff. But I always go with, there's no harm in taking profit at the right level. So AMC comes in 2.89%. In terms of the greens for today, we've got Clove, which is opening at 4, Zom, etc. Of the real big stocks over here, what have we got going on? Percentage change, big stocks, Union Pacific, Zoom Video, maybe we should check that out. What's that trading at? 360, so quite a lot cheaper than it was the other day. Biotech, Roku, very good. Nvidia 1.76, DocuSign. It really is all of these pandemic style positions that are doing well. That's where Wall Street's pushing the money in, has been for a couple of days. And here are our big reds. I want to quickly check out Zoom. Zoom. Damn, it's not too bad. 4 hours, kind of terrifying. Let's go to the daily. Ooh, damn. 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 Some volume there too. Yeah, so you can't discount. You cannot discount it. That is a lot of volume with 3 rejection wicks and momentum follow through. Okay. Coolio Zoom. We've got you here. We're watching you. 403 previous high. Bit of stuff in its way. Weekly looking great as well. Definitely a beaten down stock. People lost faith in this one. And I say when you lose faith, you got to have some faith. And I don't even like the company. When's its earnings is done, yeah, for a bit. So they did earnings first. Okay, good. So 31st. How's it run into earnings? So over here rallied. Here's the earnings here. Didn't really rally into that earnings. Over here, rallied. Over here, rallied. 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 Stable. Rallied. Oh, no, that's not fair. Stable. Interesting. What do you guys think of that? Damn, that's some big volume, and this is like an exchange between probably like Cathie Wood and someone else. Someone's like, screw this stock, and then someone's like, no, I want to buy all of this stock. What about DoorDash? Let's have a quick look, and then we'll do the super chats. What about DoorDash? Yep, that was a very nice. Resistance becomes support, moving average, weekly 20. You know, I don't like trading these stocks because it's still too early from the IPO. 7th of December to now. I also just don't like the model, but yeah, it is the correct level. Okay, so Castor Maritime, unfortunately, is quite weak, Michael. We're looking for, you've found the first step, which is getting through that nasty trend line down. Looking for a lightning bolt next. Scott Morgan, super chatting $5. Tom, my wife says you owe her for cooking breakfast for my 3 neighbors coming over every morning for the 2 weeks to watch you. You rock. Is that true, Scott? You guys having like a morning party? So it's costing you a lot of like potential eggs and bacon. Damn, Scott. Thank you very much for being such a loyal subscriber. You need to make sure they all load their phones up, man. So I want to see every phone. You put them on mute. You watch it. You click the like. That's like even more viewers. It's not pay-per-view, man, where everyone goes down to the pub and buys the well, doesn't actually buy the pay-per-view, the pub does. David Taylor, super chat $2. Hi Tom, could you have a look at QD Quidian, please? Yeah, cool. We can do that. QD. Weekly, not much to say. Been a few rallies here and then failed the rallies. Market right now, US 100 being strong, US 500, US 30 down, led by pandemic-y style stocks. Microsoft. Where's that Amazon? 3609. QD. Probably would like to see more. Maybe like a 215, 214. Get a closure above there. At least then what you're doing is you're kind of showing that you've stopped the bleed of the discount here. And you probably see something like this. And if that happens, then you're getting through a peak. You're putting in a lightning bolt. You're putting in recovery. You know, I say lightning bolt a lot because what it's showing you is it's showing you recovery. Is showing you a lot of things to do with recovery. And recovery is everything. Once you get that momentum in your favor, then it starts a slingshot effect that's quite powerful. David Taylor, asked about the Quidian. And then I've got another one here coming in from David Taylor saying, hi, Tom, is healthcare safe in historically weak periods? Healthcare is definitely much better. So last year you would have seen at the start, well, the pandemic was very usual, but go have a look through time. Healthcare is relatively stable. Biotech is not. But yes, healthcare is a defensive sector. So the defensive sectors are usually consumer staples, utilities, certain healthcare. And they're the main ones that I guess you get. Sometimes you'll also see like, what other sectors are sometimes there? The specific stocks within sectors. McDonald's during a lot of global financial crises has been okay as well. So yeah, it just really depends. But in most cases, yes, utilities have been historically more defensive, consumer staples, and healthcare. Anything that comes through late cycle is good. And remember, middle cycle stocks are specifically health. So health is one of those ones that I feel like will just continue to perform for years and years and years, kind of like I think tech will perform. But the big problem with tech is going to be tax. The big problem with healthcare is know what you're picking. If you're picking drug companies, be scared, okay? Be scared, because drug companies specifically, they're going to get, hit up by governments. So I think it's all about the type of thing. You got to have that foresight to, if I'm going to hold this for a long time, what are the potential government problems? And really it comes down to mostly that. What's the government going to do and what's human nature? And when you understand those two things, you will do better in the investment side. Tom, can you do GSAT or Beyond? Yeah, we can do both of those for you, sir. Beyond Meat, bit nasty recently. Went for a massive rally try here. Didn't get through, but I know with Beyond it's pumpy dumpy, so you have to expect if it's going to fail, it's going to fail. Look, the aim originally was to get a closure above here, that to send a slingshot effect to 199. Of course, it did not work. Sometimes it is not going to work. Sometimes it does work. Like when it broke through here, it went ballistic and you got that one. So no, this is one of those 5-to-1 style trades. You've got to realize that they're not going to work out that often. If you could coin flip those type of trades and get them correct, which I believe that type of setup would be for, then you've got some nice ticks over the long term. This current price here for Beyond is fairly sick. Somebody said the other day they tried maybe a Dunkin' Donut. Dunkin' Donut. I think that's how it's said in America. I've never had it. And they said that they tried the fake something and it was disgusting. So I've only eaten one of the patties. I thought it was all right. So it comes off the more normal support. It is bouncing. This is mostly a hype stock, so you need Reddit and other people to be around you. See these two rejections? So you've got here you've got a daily rejection, get a close above here, and then you'll start to see some pumpy rally. But you've got a lot of problems on the left-hand side, so it's not ideal, but that's the type of thing that you need to get breached. Take out the short sellers, and all of the Wall Street peeps will come in and hopefully start rallying it for you. GSAT, wireless telecommunications company, weekly. Just checking these markets. Zoom still firing. Yeah, that's triple hammer. Triple hammer. I think the stream just cost me money. Damn it, stream. Yeah, triple hammer's pretty sweet. Weekly here, we've got quite a lot of great stuff in terms of the movement. That's my bad for not checking that one out yesterday. I should have. I knew it was there. Daily. Really disgusting. I guess you'd say long leg doji bullish, but yeah. I can't ignore this. That is a closure underneath. I don't like this one. I do not like this one. Darth Sidious, super chat $2. Favorite Backstreet Boy. Hear you're a huge fan. I don't know their names. I only know their songs. My wife probably knows their names. She likes Backstreet Boys. I think they were touring Australia and then the pandemic hit and they didn't come. I think she had tickets for it. So not me. I'm not a big fan. But I don't mind a little bit of the old 90s music and stuff, of course. It's the best. It's the best, isn't it, Darth Sidious? The best. I don't even know what they look like anymore. Craig Wood, super chatted $5. Hey Tom, thoughts on TER and GILD? Okay, we'll have a look at those. QCOM, where are you, QCOM? Oh, okay, you've gone green again. That's good. Barber, good. Twilio, good. Nvidia, still hovering around that open. Roku, that needs to come up. Yes, it's pretty good. Square continues to rally. Sweet. It's just pandemic plays. Tech pandemic plays. TER. Go the weekly first for you. So, not much great TA action. I wouldn't be bearish with this kind of action. I wouldn't think there's much triggers. I think maybe what I might start asking is context for what people are actually looking for, because I always assume that people are, a lot of time I'm sure people super chat and they're like, oh, I just want to see if you see this is going more bullish and stuff. That not every point is going to be an entry area. So you're just like, oh, at this point, has it recovered? Sure, it's looking a lot better. You could even argue that in some ways this is angling towards an ascending triangle, because ignoring this one out, and if we go to a weekly, you're not going to have that, is going to have a gap underneath full close. When it breaches this resistance, and if it does, 135, this is signaling for all-time peaks. It's got a series of higher lows, still does. Remember, it didn't make a new lower low. And you're going to have equal highs, and it's breaking. It would be breaking before the last third if it kept going with momentum. So that would be quite a strong position. But do I like it right now, Craig? Not particularly. GILD, if you're in it, then you're just running through and you're happy about it. Gilead, now that's not bad. Series of higher lows coming through. Would prefer volume was increasing rather than decreasing. Good resistance. Would love a closure above. Well spotted, and you are correct. I know what you're going to be looking at. That resistance there. Higher lows is important into this close. So higher lows, or if it does make a low, quick reversal, effectively a stop hunt, and then breach above. That's cool. Tyra Nabella, $5. Can we take super chats in the form of casino chips in cans? I feel it might be good practice. I don't mind that cans casino. I remember last time we were there. We played that blackjack. We made I think we made the whole trip in like 10 minutes and then we left. And that's the rule. It's like trading, guys. If you're going to go in there, you put a little bit aside. It's basically like buying AMC stock, or not AMC, whatever, CLOV or whatever. And then you just put it in and you do the right thing and you play by the statistics. And if you're lucky enough to make that money, you bail train and you just run out of the casino. Just give me it and you're just gone. You're gone. You're down the street and then you go have a nice dinner. And then you don't go back for 6 months. Maybe years. The answer to that, Ty, could be yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, we will be holding I think it's going to be a really great seminar up in Cairns. I'll be announcing more with Tyrone probably tomorrow about that. So that's basically going to be where we'll do 2 days live for anyone that's interested. We've got I think it's going to be booked at the Novotel. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but anyway. And it's going to be good. So if anyone in Australia is interested and you're not part of the community, we'll definitely have details on that. And we're hoping to do one in Vegas, which I am super pumped for next year. So if we are allowed to actually leave and fly anywhere, of course, we've got to come to America. And I am super pumped to go to Vegas and do some seminar there. So we'd love to do 2 days and then have a couple of days of just chilling with people and just trading with the community and stuff. So if you guys like that idea, let me know, because Tyron and I, we're super pumped for that kind of concept. We love interacting, and it's been a year of basically not being able to do that. Truly Messiah says we are all locked down and it's the Delta strain attack now. That's true. So look, this morning seems pretty good. Tesla is lackluster, but we kind of slated the fact that it's actually usually lackluster into earnings. So Tesla's not got a positive correlation. Almost all of the positivity here is in the big kind of tech stocks, and you'll notice, of course, a zoom with the triple bull hammers, the triple rejection combo meal deal. If that closes bullish, you would think there's even more bulls behind it. Remember, big volume coming through there, nice transactional volume. So when zoom's on, it can do some big days. We'll certainly be watching this chart over the next 24 hours. Huey said Vegas would be sick. Romeo says, guess I'm going to Vegas. Yeah, I'm just keen. You know, I haven't been to America. Tyrone has. I haven't been there. I wanted to go for years. I just never got over there. I've gone everywhere else. I've gone to Europe, all of Asia. But yeah, America's going to happen next year, guys. We're going to come to Cape Town. Yeah, that'd be a cool place as well. Maybe we'll see how much interest it is. We've got a great community here, so we'll check all that out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us for the Thursday Open. Just remember, after the close, we have some pretty big information coming out. We've got Intel, Snap, and Twitters. Twitters always terrifies me into earnings, but I have this sneaking suspicion that maybe this time Twitter's done the goods. But the market certainly has run into it. So be very careful around these types of earnings, especially one such as always misses Twitter. So we'll have to find out whether it does hit. Intel could also start a little bit of a trend if it has the right type of result. We'll have to find out how that works. And just always keep things in perspective. I think that's what I really wanted to get through today. Actionable data, I believe, is one of the most powerful concepts in all of trading. It keeps you confident. It keeps you following the price action, following the methods, and following the concepts that everyone is so usually making you forget. How many times have you freaked out? How many times have you watched a video and been like, oh my God, I got to close the position. And then you do. Having the ability to take the power into your own hands based on data is such an important concept, and something Tyrone and I really want to educate the world on as much as possible. So when you can get good quality data together, you can put it into a succinct plan overall, which takes time. Don't worry, you have to actually get it fully explained to you. It's not easy. But when you get all of that, you'll have the confidence to be able to hold when other people can't, to be able to enter when other people can't, to be able to exit sometimes when other people can't, or trim. These are the types of things that you need to think about. So put things in context, and when you do, you'll find you have better trading and better, of course, investing success. For today, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good day here for the technology stocks, and you can see lightning bolts going on across the world of these, and we'll just have to see whether it can hold up into the close. Thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the Hangout with Tyrone, and it's going to be a great 1 hour session. So I wish you all the best today. Bye for now. Soto Tune says, so many thousands of % yes to Vegas. I'll be absolutely be there for that. Sounds great. Is the Nasdaq reversing? Too early to tell. I mean, from the price action, you would say yes, it's moving down, but this is the first hour. I mean, we're less than half an hour to trade. It's way too early to tell.